Welcome, everybody, to the Major League Baseball playoff preview show on the Girly True Sports Network. Today, we're going to preview the American League Divisional Series best of five between the underdog Kansas City Royals and the heavily favored New York Yankees. Now, the Yankees come into their ALDS matchup with the Kansas City Royals as the only American League team still alive outside of the American League Central. The Royals and Tigers advanced out of the wild card round, which I think was shocking to most people. Detroit is matched up with the Cleveland Guardians on the other side of the AL bracket. All the pressure in this series is on the Yankees, who have had a full week off before starting Saturday's Game 1 at Yankee Stadium. Kansas City carries all the momentum into this series thanks to his tremendous pitching performances against the Baltimore Orioles. The Royals need the pitching to be at the same level for the duration of this ALDS to have a chance. You know, you got to shut down Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and company. The pitching is going to be top-notch to be able to pull that out. Right now, the series, the New York Yankees are minus 200 to win the series, and the Kansas City Royals are minus 190 or plus 190 to win the series. The thing we've seen in the baseball playoffs before, you remember 1973 New York Mets, basically a 500 regular season team, comes in, upsets the Cincinnati Reds, takes the Oakland A's all the way to 7 games in the World Series. The 1988 LA Dodgers of Orel Hershiser, who pulled the upset against a great New York Mets team, probably a better team than what the 86 Mets were in 88. And then they won the World Series against the Bash Brothers and the Oakland A's. We've seen it time and time again where pitching gets it done. We saw it last year with the Texas Rangers. The pitchers get hot. They go from wild card to winning it all. Can the Kansas City Royals do that? I think that is actually possible. I think 2-1 are huge odds in this series. We'll get into whether I think the Royals will actually win the series, but I think this is going to be a great series. Kansas City's pitchers thrived over 2 games at Camden Yards. Now, I know the Orioles' bats had not done much in the last half of the season, but Cole Ragans and Seth Lugo turned in quality starts. The bullpen shut down an Orioles lineup again, as I said, fizzle out in the second half of the regular season. But it's still a very good lineup in Baltimore. Baltimore was an ideal matchup for the Royals pitchers because the Orioles hitters were slumping and susceptible to strikeouts. That will not be a case, especially against the top third of the Yankee order. Judge and Soto are one of the toughest 1-2 combinations to slow down among teams still alive in the postseason. Kansas City will try to combat the New York Sluggers with a group of hurlers that allowed a single run against the Orioles. Ragans could come back on short rest to pitch on Saturday, or he could pitch on extra rest for Monday's Game 2. Seth Lugo is a Game 2 or Game 3 option, while Michael Vaca could start Game 1 if Ragans is not ready. Now, if you could split those first 2 games, you got a real shot to win this series. And with the pitchers they can put out there, they definitely can win one of those 2 games. Now, the back end, the Royals bullpen was equally as impressive as the starters in Baltimore. You know, Lucas and company held the Orioles to 1 hit and 4.2 innings of work on Wednesday. Of course, Bobby Witt Jr. and others will have to come up with timely hits to win games, but dominant pitching will be Kansas City's X factor to move on to the American League Championship Series. And Bobby Witt Jr. is an absolute stud. My question with the Royals, where are they going to get the other hits? Where are they going to score their runs? Because we saw even in the sweep over Baltimore, I mean, there was a couple times yesterday where they left the bases loaded, scored no runs. They had to get by the skin of their teeth in both games with very few run production. Now, the Yankees have a mountain of pressure on their shoulders to win the ALDS, hell, to win the World Series. New York carries a ton of expectations into the postseason after earning the top seed ahead of Cleveland at the end of the year. All the big names are ready to shine in the postseason. You've got Garrett Cole is on the bump for Game 1. Carlos Rodon will follow in Game 2. Judge and Soto each had fantastic regular seasons and will be counted on to thrive in the postseason as well. Now, it's hard for the Yankees not to have a World Series or bust mentality, but they have to take each series one at a time because of how dangerous the wild card teams have been in the previous couple postseasons. The Yankees are looking to make their 4th ALCS since 2017. And if they reach that point, they will not have to run into the Houston Astros at least, which has been kind of their kryptonite the previous 3 ALCS appearances. New York will be viewed as a heavy favorite to emerge out of the AL and into the World Series. And if the team deals with the pressure properly, it could have a fruitful few weeks. But when I look at the series, once again, I really like this Kansas City Royals team. Do I like them enough to bet them on BetMGM, which is the top sports book for betting on baseball, football, basketball, hockey, tiddlywinks, you name it? BetMGM is the place to bet on sports. You can click on the link in the description down below to check them out. I think the way this series goes is I think the Royals will get a great pitching performance to split this series at 1-1. I think they'll get another pitching performance at home to split it at 2-2. I think game 5, it'll come down to the Royals-Yankees. I'm going to take the Yankees just by a little bit. I really believe the Kansas City Royals could win this series. I believe the Kansas City Royals could win it all. I do believe the New York Yankees are the better team, but in a 5-game series with pitching like the Royals have in the front end with the starters, the way they have it in the back end with the bullpen, they're going to be tough to beat. Now, the Yankees have good starters also. I don't know that the bullpen's quite up to the Royals. So this, I think, is a 4 or 5-game series. I think it's going to be great for Major League Baseball. I think what we saw over the last few days with the Detroit Tigers winning, you've got a deciding game tonight between the Mets and Brewers. There's been some great baseball played. I look for the Yankees to take this series in 5. And remember, check out BetMGM to bet it. Also, click like, hit the bell notification on YouTube. Go to X, follow us at Grilling Truth. Make sure you check us out on Facebook. Also, check out thegrillingtruth.com for all our college football, NFL, basketball, hockey, you name it, we've got it. But for now, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to The Grilling Truth, where the legends speak.